Hello guys, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about repressed femininity. One of the important things in life is to be aware of who you are and to be the person who defines who you are. Okay, not to let yourself be defined by others or by the environment, but to take charge of defining who you are. Now, one of the things that hinders this process, or rather can interfere with it, is a repressed femininity, particularly in women. And that is because women are generally more in touch with their femininity. It's a huge factor in who they are. So a woman who has a repressed femininity is a woman who's not completely within herself and within her power. So one of the ways repressed femininity can happen is when someone is raised in a family where they are deprived of warmth, where no one sought to understand their emotions, where their nurturing figure does not mirror their feelings. One of the ways people learn to understand their emotions and their feelings is when someone else, a nurturing figure or a mother, mirrors them. When someone else helps them verbalize them, or someone else allows them to verbalize what they are feeling, when someone else validates how they are feeling. When you are not validated emotionally, when you are not mirrored, when you are not listened to, then those are the factors that lead you to being cut off from your femininity, because your emotions and your needs are a very important part of your femininity. And if that happens from a young age, then you need to do a lot of work to get back in touch with your femininity. Because in childhood is when people learn emotional regulation, and they often learn it from their nurturing figures. It's hard to emotionally regulate when you're not even aware of your emotions and your needs. You learn to regulate by also knowing what you are actually feeling. So if you spend too much time repressing what you're feeling because you are not allowed its expression, then even regulating your emotions becomes problematic. Okay, and you also learn how to emotionally regulate by watching the adults around you, by watching your nurturing figures. If they're poor at regulation, then you might also become poor at regulation. You get good at regulation by having a nurturing figure who you can copy how they regulate their emotions. Some people are lucky, even if in their home environment are poor at regulation, they meet someone else, a mentor or someone in the community who they can copy how they regulate their emotions. But of course, in the home, that's when the highest influence tends to be. So what can make a nurturing figure not be there to help their child connect with their femininity? We know the world is not perfect, and so some caregivers can be in a very stressful situation, whether that's financially or whether that is not having enough support, the support they need when they are raising a family. And so if the nurturing figure is stressed out and they do not have a support system, this can be one of the factors that leads to them not being there properly for their children, to teach them how to regulate. Because remember, different families deal differently. You find one person, when they're stressed and overwhelmed, they repress it. And so when they see a child expressing emotion, that unsettles them. And so they teach children to repress. Some people believe stuffing down emotions is the best way. You just need to tough it out. There's no need to feel emotions. You just need to, woman up or man up. So that comes from the values you have or from the beliefs you have. Or others, instead, what can happen is when they are stressed, they blow up and their emotions are overwhelming. And what happens is, if the caregivers have overwhelming emotions, the kids can get the message that their emotions don't have a place because other people already have too many emotions. And if the caregiver cannot regulate their emotions and has outbursts, then you know, so what can happen is the child could be repressing their feelings, but internally they're having big emotions because they're mirroring the caregiver. They can be having big emotions inside without a channel to release them because there's no one in their environment who's allowing them to release that, who is getting to know how they're feeling, etc., or mirroring them or validating what they're feeling. So what can happen when you're repressing your needs and emotions over time, from the time you're a child, that's how people start getting disconnected from aspects of the feminine, because the feminine deals with emotions and needs. So what happens when a family is stressed out? Sometimes when there isn't a father or a masculine figure in the household, what can happen is some daughters can learn to have a masculine nature. So they may have a masculine nature because someone needs to embody that masculinity, or they feel like they need to step in to embody that, to sort of create a balance in the family dynamics. And through embodying the masculine nature, they may even repress their feminine further as they seek to look like the strong one. This happens a lot in firstborn daughters, especially in families where the father is not really taking that space or really not being there properly. Sometimes the firstborn daughters can do this, where they assume a really strong masculine nature while repressing their needs as they take care of everybody else. A strong embodiment of the masculine involves a focus on achievement and taking care of others. And there's nothing wrong with achievement. There's nothing wrong with pursuing goals. The only problem is being overly focused on that and hoping that will provide a sense of safety and a sense of warmth within. So that's like trying to seek femininity from doing kind of masculine oriented activities. What is supposed to happen is that they need to get back and embody their feminine energy. There's nothing wrong with being strongly achieving. There's only something wrong with doing it and expecting to feel the warmth that only comes from really being in your feminine energy. And you can only be in your feminine energy when often these people need to release shame related to feeling like they're the ones who have to protect others. They feel like they can't be the one to be taken care of. They can't be the one to relax. They can't be the one to just be in their femininity just for its sake. They feel like they have to be in that warrior mode. That's the issue with this. Another way in which people can repress their femininity is when they grow up in a culture or in a family where masculinity is respected over femininity. So this can be a place where emotions and feelings are wrong and devalued, and also where women are expected to take on roles of servitude and oppression, where women are not really allowed to embody their true personalities, where women exist to serve men and to serve the masculine. Some daughters, when they grow up, may reject femininity or repress it within them because they associate femininity with weakness, and they associate it with oppression, and they associate it with giving up your dreams and giving up who you are. So that's one of the ways people can get disconnected from their femininity. So one can get back into their femininity by redefining what femininity is to them. Remember, in places like African tradition, not just African tradition, in fact, all over the world, for a long time, women were meant for servitude and to serve the man somehow, and they were meant to give. They weren't really much they could do. There wasn't really much they could do career-wise or just to further themselves. They were meant to serve. So you have to redefine what femininity means to you. What does self-care mean to you? How do you prefer to meet your needs? Especially if you associated femininity with giving up needs. So you have to get back into your needs and meet them your own way. You have to get back into self-care and meet your self-care in your own way. You have to learn how to release emotions and feel emotions in a way that is healthy. And you have to learn more about regulating your feelings and being in touch with your feelings, and seeing that there is value in being in touch with your feelings, that there's nothing to be ashamed of about emotions like you'd been taught. Like, there's nothing about weakness with emotions. Emotions are there to serve as a guide to, your soul and what you're experiencing. So the more you learn about them, the more you learn to regulate them, the better. You should also learn to embody femininity for its sake. Just do feminine things not because there's an end to it, but just because you want to, just because it's fun, just because you feel like it. To embody, to enjoy things like, just trying out different fashions, trying out different hairstyles, taking baths, going to the spa, just for the sake, because sometimes I find people who've repressed their femininity, particularly if they devalued the feminine side, they can really have a hard time doing things like that for fun, because they find it they don't understand the point, because such things get you in touch with your feelings, and such things may really make them uncomfortable. But then it's important to be in touch with feminine energy as a woman, because it's a very strong part of our power. Astrologically, for some of you who follow astrology, you understand the importance of the moon and Venus in a woman's femininity. In fact, I'm going to be doing a video on that one of these days. Those two things are very, very important in a woman. It doesn't matter even, I forgot what I was going to say. But it's so important. So, guys, get in touch with your femininity. It will help you really understand your personality. It will help you define your sense of self much, much better. And I wish you the best. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.